All right. What comes to your mind when you think of the term voodoo? What practices and ideologies do you associate with this term? Voodoo has engrossed the Western imagination as a religion founded on immorality, a complete antithesis of Western virtues of wealth, class, and self, a so-called primitive religion based on Satanism and sin. We are taught through fantastical horror films that voodoo is the religion of mysterious antagonists who wish to inflict harm upon others. When I asked you, the panel, what comes to mind when you think of the term voodoo, I assume your immediate thoughts were of the voodoo doll, or of evil witches of African or Caribbean descent. The mythologized religion of voodoo stems from those who traveled to Haiti during US occupiedness during the 1930s. Observers perceived Haitian voodoo as immoral due to the faith's polytheistic nature and the lack of knowledge concerning the religion's spirits and practices, which included the likes of herbal medicine. So historically, how did voodoo emerge, and why has it created such anxiety in the broader Western mind? Following the Spanish colonization of the island Hispaniola of modern-day Haiti and the Dominican Republic, French settlers established permanent residence on the western side of the island and created their own colony, Saint Dominique, now on the land of modern-day Haiti. The opportunist settlers of Saint Dominique started importing large numbers of African-born slaves to further their economic means, creating plantations and sugar mills. By 1789, Saint Dominique's population stood at an estimated 556,000. 500,000 of those people were enslaved persons. This forced assimilation of West African tribes, ethnicities, communities, and by extension, religious practices and linguistics forged a reformed sense of familiarity between Saint Dominique's slave population. Individuals could no longer rely on tribal affiliations and familial lines that were essential to African heritage and identity. Rather, enslaved persons relied on their local communities, regardless of faith or race. Through this amalgamation of national identities and spiritualities, voodoo was born, and thus became the religion of those victimized by the Haitian slave trade. It combined the beliefs and practices of many West African nationalities and tribes, including the Dahomian people of modern-day Benin, the people of Yoruba from Nigeria, and the Bantu-speaking people spanning from Angola to Congo, and many more persons and groups who were all abducted from their communities to the colonial settlement of Saint Dominique. Given that Saint Dominique was a French settlement, it also included elements of Catholicism. French Catholic missionaries were often sent to slave communities to enforce such religion. However, I theorize that Haitian slaves practiced this sort of sense of partial Catholicism to continue their voodoo faith without brutal punishment due to Code Noir that outlawed public acts of voodoo practice. As many of the voodoo feast days and spirits align with many of the Catholic feast days and saints. You often see on modern-day altars that Catholic saints are put alongside the voodoo spirits and imagery. This syncretism evolved into genuine Catholicism over time. Voodoo became the direct rejection of oppressive systems and colonial power. Throughout this period of severe grief for the loss of community and culture, voodoo became a driving faith for those slaves who wished to maintain their identity and heritage. It cultivated the space of temporary liberation and equality for those oppressed to vocalize their frustrations and later organize their resistance against the slave owners and French imperialist government. Voodoo was the catalyst to Haiti's slave revolution, leading Haiti to be the first independent country free from colonial powers and the first country to be founded by emancipated slaves. Vodou is a broad and complex worldview, encompassing elements of philosophy, medicine, and religion that ultimately focuses on harmony and communal balance. This includes discovering one's place in the community to thereby give aid and to grow stronger relationships with their peers. And it is necessary to point out that Vodou is actively practiced today, continuously and presently. There's a common saying that Haiti is 70% Catholic, 30% Protestant, and 100% Vodou. It is a creatively practiced religion, rather than a prescriptive one with a written doctrine or centralized spiritual leader, such as a pope. Its comprehensive framework maintains the philosophy of sacredness within everything. Every human, every animal, every plant, and every mineral. In essence, Vodou is an animistic religion. This overarching belief of unity focuses not on the physicality of a subject nor object, but the spirit within such subject or object. This sanctity also extends to one's ancestors. This overt form of humanism hopes to praise those living, dead, and unborn. Vodou devotees and priests often say their purpose is to servir l'eau, or to serve the spirits. The universe is seen as a harmonious space where each drive and polyrhythm of nature hold inseparable meaning and connectedness. Vodou's foundational moral code does not involve the dichotomy of good versus evil or heaven versus hell. Rather, those who ignore familial responsibilities of care, neglect the loi or spirits, including those of your ancestors, and those who disturb social cohesion and harmony are committing acts of immorality by neglecting these universal flows of balance. These motivations for a strong community were key during the Haitian slave trade to survive and withstand seemingly perpetual dehumanization and brutality. The virtue of a strong community was essential for well-being and to later revolt against the trade itself. Each loi has respective personalities and traits as well as individual associations, usually with specific elements, objects, and colors. These spirits are not idols of a moral code. They are beings connected to distinct areas of life. The range of loi serves to represent the emotions and circumstances of life, including the unpleasant and brutish ones. Anthropologist McCarthy Brown studied Vodou's philosophy alongside Vodou priestess Mama Lola, and she states that the Vodou spirits are not models of a well-lived life. Rather, they mirror the full range of possibilities inherent in the particular slice of life over which they preside. Failure to understand this has led observers to portray the Vodou spirits as demonic, or even conclude that Vodou itself is a religion without morality, a serious misconception. Anthropologists and journalists have failed to see the intersectionality and the nuance of the loi, creating demonic portrayals of the Haitian faith throughout media and concluding that Vodou is the religion of the devil. In Life magazine, issue 67 from 1987, a US missionary said, "It is Vodou that is the devil here, a cancer on Haiti. Vodou is worse than AIDS. Did you know that for a man to become an ungan, a priest, he must perform anal sodomy on another man?" No, of course you didn't. So what do you expect from these people? The missionary used these terms such as these people and anal sodomy to provoke these wild, primitive, connotative images into the American mind. However, to become an ungan, one must undergo a highly complex period of isolation, complete spiritual cleansing, and personal sacrifice, not a singular homosexual sex act. These false and discriminatory and underdeveloped narratives of Vodou continue the mischaracterization and condemnation of this holistic religion. The term voodoo itself is a stark mispronunciation and misspelling of Vodou. And it is important to note that the key tenets of Vodou misalign with the common motifs and ideas of Western society. While Vodou emphasizes the need for community and the natural world, Western ideas emphasize the importance of material wealth and individualism and the erasure of the natural environment as a means of personal expansion or profit. As humans, we fear what we do not know and understand. Thus, we fear Vodou. Taking this into account, it is no surprise that Western bystanders assume that Haitian Vodou is subhuman and impoverished due to its animistic nature. Vodou condemns those who practice hyper-individualistic and expansionist values. The West separate themselves from Haiti by othering those who practice Vodou. And in the same notion that the West demonizes Vodou, it excludes and dismisses different structures and cultural ideas of social class and perceived value. These theories of rejection are like-minded to Julia Kristeva's framework of the abject. She states that the abject occurs in two forms: the act of rejecting or expelling a subject and the act of rejecting oneself. She states that it is thus not a lack of cleanliness of health that causes objection, but what disturbs identity, system, order, what does not respect borders, positions, and rules. We as individuals of Western society take part in both forms of the abject when we encounter animistic religions. Vodou's naturalistic wisdom of aligning one's mind with one's body while being wholly equal to one's community sparks a sense of the unknown in Westerners, who have been taught concepts of systemic racism, sexism, and classism. These virtues disturb the Western identity, system, and order. This is not to say that Haiti as a country is void of such ideology. Inversely, these ideas are not common within Vodou. As I've stated, Vodou seems to oppose notions of capitalistic notions and values and boundaries. Thus, we abject Vodou and create false characterizations of such religion due to our fear of the unknown. By retaining a sensitivity for the natural world, practitioners of Vodou understand the natural order and the place that humans, mammals, hold in society. It is natural for the Western observer to dismiss motifs of animism as we learn to create a logic of dissonance between ourselves and the animals and plants and minerals that surround us. For example, we are taught to reject the sight of our excrement and urine due to their animalistic connotations, or to eat with instruments such as a knife and fork to avoid eating with our hands out of fear of appearing primitive. These abjected concepts of eating and defecation are natural physiological processes that occur to maintain bodily function. As humans, we reject ourselves, our bodily functions, and survival instinct to become ourselves, advanced identity that transgresses the need for natural order. We abject animism as a whole, and thus ourselves. This has led to us rejecting and subsequently oppressing animistic religions, often founded in indigenous or post-colonial religions. In our contemporary landscape, we have become cognitively detached from our unconscious instinctual brain. We create and commercialize mindfulness techniques and yoga to temporarily align ourselves with our bodies, rather than uncovering that we actively engage in the abjection of self. Vodou is a historically embedded religion that allowed for liberation and communal strength during Haiti's multiple periods of civil unrest and strife. By uncovering our Western misconceptions of Vodou and by extension animism, we garner further understanding of the human condition and our ideas of self. Thank you.
Wow. We've got 14 minutes, 45 seconds. Great. It's just about to go on. Now. Wow. That was awesome.
Yeah, I'll check this up. There you go.
Let's turn these off.